Hello friends, welcome to the deck profile. This time we got KierP, who's the current Scrub League champion, the reigning champion, and he's going to show us his... Yeah, he's going to show us his most consistent deck of last season, which was Metaphys. And Ballis dropped literally like this morning.
I was actually out on a night out when that was happening.
I was about to go to sleep and then it came up, so I stayed up even longer.
It was ridiculous.
Yeah, and then this Metaphys deck, obviously, you got hit, Gold Sock, went to 1, but a new set dropped, sneak peek today, and you got a couple of cards. So So what do you think of the new updates of the thing before we go into the profile?
What, in terms of like...
Yeah, like the changes and the new list, how much has it affected your deck overall?
The new list, it hurt when Gold Sock went to 1. Gold Sock does a lot for the deck because the deck's based around Banishing, and like it's nice to try and see Gold Sock as often as I can for stuff like Metaphys. So even though in the new set there's like obviously a new card that's like Gold Sock, it's not going to be as consistent still.
Yeah.
Because I can't get it from the deck as easily and stuff like that.
We're going to the profile and see what Metaphys cards you got.
First of all, start with Metaphys Ragnarok.
Yes, Ragnarok.
Probably one of the best cards of the deck. It's the starter card. When you summon it, you banish 3 from the top of the deck, and it gains attack permanently equal to how many Metaphys cards you banish. So that starts your engine off. Then I play 3 Metaphys Tyrant Dragon.
Yes.
Once this card is banished in the standby phase of the next turn, you can shuffle it into the deck and spec a Metaphys from hand.
Yeah.
And it's really good. And also, if it's specced by a monster effect, it can attack twice and it's unaffected by trap cards. It's really strong. Strongest monster of the deck, really.
Big as well, yeah. Okay.
Then we play 3 Metaphys Nephthys.
Yes.
Once this card is banished, it's basically the searcher of the deck. So in the standby phase, you shuffle it in and add a Metaphys from deck to hand. So that's really strong.
Yeah, music, man. I need it.
The one that removes back row as well.
Yes. I should mention that. Once that's spec'd, it removes back row. So it's really strong. And then my favourite card of the deck, Metaphys Daedalus.
Yes.
Its banish effect is you shuffle it in and you can banish 1 from the deck, so it's good to get this out into the banish zone so you get your free search on the next standby. But also, once it's spec through a Metaphys monster effect, it banishes all special summon monsters except itself, and that is really strong because it just opens up the game for you.
Board clear, okay.
Play 2 Metaphys Decoy Dragon.
Yes.
Its scale and monster effect is practically the same. When it's banished, you can spec it on the next standby phase, and if your opponent declares an attack, you can banish it, and you can spec a Metaphys from either banish or revive. So it's really strong.
Good for
it's annoying for
really annoying,
opponents. They have to focus to get rid of it, otherwise I'm going to play.
Yeah.
The last of the Metaphys monsters, 1 copy of Metaphys Executor.
Card you always open.
Yeah, I tend to always open this. It's ridiculous, but it's definitely a one-of the deck. Where you summon it, you banish 5 Metaphys with different names from field or grave, and you can just spec it. It can't be destroyed or banished by card effects. So when you spec Daedalus, it stays on the board. It's basically the boss monster of the deck, but you only run it as 1 because it's bricky.
Yeah, it's not consistent compared to
it really isn't. But it does out some situations. And then the other monsters, 2 Necrophase, because again, if you see Gold Sock, you want to banish it, you want to obviously get your engine going, so that's another way to get the engine starting.
You banish another one, you banish even more cards.
Yeah, it's really funny as well, because your opponent, who obviously doesn't want any other things banished most of the time, and they start losing their engine, it's just like, the amount of times that's got me just wins where people have scooped, because I've banished both of them and they've lost their engine. It's really funny. New card of the set, only got 1 at the minute, proxying the other 2, is Aloof Lupin. What this does, in your once you summon it, you can banish 1 from your hands and then back 1 from deck. So
that's good for this deck, right?
Yeah, so it's really good. It's got to be the same type. So
also, hold on, if you draw a Necrophase with this, right?
So you can banish 2 Necrophases like that. It's ridiculous.
Like 12 cards instantly.
Yeah.
Hey, Kieran, I have a question for you. How does it feel about Imperial Iron Wall?
I mean, yeah, the deck does lose to that. But basically, I would like, if I banish that from a hand, it's a search, and then I can banish whatever else I want.
Yeah, they're all Wyrm, right?
Yeah, they're all Wyrm.
Wyrm type.
So it's really strong. And then also, once it's, pretty sure once it's destroyed, have to double check.
Yeah, it's in your card.
Yeah, I can add one of those banished ones back. So like, literally, I can get Necrophase back and recycle the engine. It's great.
So that's the dog. I like the artwork of this new card.
Because we don't really care for the extra deck, we play 2 Easter of Millions. I've actually got the one, so that's another proxy.
Yeah. But you don't have, this is common, man.
I just don't collect.
Okay, fair enough.
So 2 Eater of Millions, and then
I'm guessing these were 2 gold socks before.
So these 3 were Light Trade Greffer, which were in the deck, and then I decided against it because the card was really bad.
Yeah, this is so much better than this guy.
Yeah, he is, but no, Light Trade Greffer was really bad.
Yeah.
So I kind of just decided against it.
Okay.
So Eater of Millions, because we don't really care for the extra deck. The deck can do so much without it.
Yeah.
So that's really
I never see you go into it, actually. Honestly,
very rarely.
I never see you.
Unless I'm desperate, I very rarely go into it.
Yeah.
Now for the spells. 3 Ace of Metaphys, the best spell card of the deck. What it does, you can activate it, and then you can banish 1 from hand and draw a card, so it can unbrick you, and obviously it can start an engine going.
Trigger stuff,
Yeah, and it also triggers stuff. So if it was in your turn, all your opponent's monsters lose 500 attack and defense. If you banish one, in your opponent's turn, their battle positions are forced to change. It's really good because it's not a hard once per turn, so you can activate multiple. If you open 2 or 3, you can activate all of them.
And I believe is the attack and defense loss permanent?
It's permanent, and also it's mandatory. So if you did 1, it would literally go chain 1, chain 2. And you can't do it again. So, but it still gets you going.
Free of that one.
Then I play 2 Metaphys Factor. This card is actually really good. Once it's on the field, your opponent can't respond to the Metaphys monster effects. That is the main reason I use it. You can also normal summon basically any Metaphys monster with any level, so you don't have to worry about tributing if you're really struggling. So you can't be striked or anything like that. But the good thing is the non-response to monster effects.
That's always a good thing.
Then we play recently on the ban list on the limited section 1 gold sock.
Yes, we mentioned this.
It was at 3. Obviously, ban list dropped this morning.
It's because of Thunder Dragons, man.
It is because of Thunder Dragons, and obviously nothing I have to do about it. But at 1, I'd still really good if I open it. Necrophases go in, and it starts the engine off.
Yes.
I play 3 Crossbreeds.
Okay.
This card's actually really good for the deck. It banishes 2 monsters from your hands or face up on the field, and they're all Worm Light. So, and then what you do, you add 1 from deck. So if you had like 2 of the level 8s or like 2 level 7s or something like that, you can banish them and then add your Ragnarok and start your engine.
So it's like the dog, but instead of banishing, you add
1 from deck to hand. So you can add your Ragnarok, you can send your Ragnarok, start your engine, and because you've already banished 2 Metaphys monsters, you're going to get their effects in the next standby. So again, that gets your engine going.
Yeah. Free of that.
Play 2 Twin Twisters, because this deck loses to back row.
Yeah, like
a lot of stumps. Something like Imperial Iron Wall, etc. You need to try and deal with back row. Nephthys does it really well, this does it really well. It's just nice to deal with. Because it's a banish-based deck, 1 copy of Dimensional Fissure.
Cancer.
Everyone who's gone against it hates me for it every time I activate it. They're like, for God's sake, and they struggle to play around it because they lose their materials. So this is really funny, and I love it.
I hate this card.
Now to the drops. I play 3 Metaphys Ascension. This card is so good. So if you use it as a normal trap, you can discard 1 card, 1 Metaphys card, draw a card, and then banish a card. All in 1 activation.
That's crazy.
Which is incredible. But also, if you banish it, you get to add 1 as well, like Nephthys. But you can only use each effect once per turn. That is a hard one, but it's so good. I play 1 Metaphys Dimension. I don't really like the card that often. Don't really see it that often. Don't play it that often. But you can basically, if your opponent special summons a monster, you can spec 1 from your banish. I'm not the biggest fan of this card. And then I play 1 Waterfall of Dragon Souls.
Just 1, okay.
Just 1. I did play 2. It's a little bit slow, but it's nice because they're all worms, so you can obviously sack it up, add a worm. Helps get engine going if you've bricked or something like that. And you can draw 2 if something gets targeted for destruction. So it's helpful. And then last but not least, 1 Macrocosmos.
Cancer again.
Basically, the trap card version of Dimensional Fissure is great.
So let's quickly go through your extra deck, which you never go into.
I never go into, but there is always stuff that's useful. So loads of generic link too. So Hippo Shinnigan, they're all light, makes sense. Underclock, just generic. A Nightmare package of Phoenix, Cerberus. That more if I'm desperate to remove back row.
To out Imperial Iron Wall.
Basically, quite honestly. one Proxy Dragon.
Yeah.
Again, generic. Strangely, I play 2 Akashiks, because it's always funny to bounce.
Yeah, okay.
Bounce things that are in the way, basically. Because I've found out a lot of the times that a lot of people always tend to summon link monsters and have a zone point to me, so it's just funny to bounce it out the way. But again, I very rarely go into the deck anyway. Oh yeah. And then I play Reprodicus.
Yes.
Purely because I also play that.
Okay.
So if I can obviously link to go into Reprodicus is select for basically to tab out this, but I reckon this will get banned eventually, but it's broken. I was surprised it survived. I'm surprised it survived. And then
it's good at night. It's good at night.
I'll move these out of the way. I play 1 Ningetsu.
Okay.
Just because I really like the card. It's non-targeting, non-destruction removal. It's really good. But
how often do you make it though? That's the question.
Not very. Because again, I don't care for a lot of the time I genuinely don't care for the extra deck.
Okay.
I don't care for the extra deck that much, but it's another option if I need it. If I'm that desperate.
Yeah, when you get Imperial Iron Wall, that's when you start going into, I think.
Here comes the
the only link 4 of the deck, Borrowed. It would be Borrow Sword, but
doesn't matter.
budget.
You never summon
I never summon it anyway. It doesn't matter. I can summon enough monsters
you banish
to summon
off
it.
Eater of Millions, that's how
Quite
important
honestly,
this card is.
I don't care for it. I've gone into it like probably once the entire time I've played the deck.
I'm surprised you went into it at least once.
Yeah, and it got me the win in all fairness.
Okay, fair enough. So it's always handy to have that.
Because Nephthys and Tyrant Dragon are level 8s. Hope Harbinger. If I'm like when we do Scrub League, like when I go against something blind, not knowing what I'm going against, if I have those 2 on board, it's nice to see this.
Okay.
Because I don't know what I'm going against. It's nice negations. A lot of decks like to start off with spells, so it's nice. Don't question it. It's just filler. It's Eater of Millions target. It's just filler. More than anything else.
This could be any card.
That literally could be anything else. It doesn't matter.
The Mech Knight link.
Number 41, Baguska. Again, generic. Doesn't really matter. Very rarely go into it. I've probably done it once. Can't remember it. And last but not least, and this card I actually do go into is Ciphering Omega.
Yeah, because you have a tuner.
The tuner is Ragnarok, funnily enough. So obviously that will go well with things like Lupin. Those 2 will go straight into it. But obviously it takes a bit of commitment for 2 normal summons, but still, it's still an option, and I have gone into it more than I thought I would. So that's it. Really.
Any other cards you think that you should run in the deck, or in the future?
Part of Extravagance in the new set is really good. Obviously, it's a short print secret. No one pulled it here today. I'd love to actually pull this because again, we don't care for the extra deck.
It's Banish 6, draw 2.
It's Banish 3 or 6, and you just draw. You can't draw for the rest of the turn, but this deck doesn't really draw. You don't want to play things like Pot of Desires because you're banishing face down. You need everything face up so they can activate. Also, the only other thing I can think of is probably Soul Absorption because God, your life points would just climb up with the way this deck runs. So they're the only things I'd also consider. But other than that, probably nothing else.
That's it. The Champions deck profile. Well, not quite the deck users. Team Garbage is representative. Cheers for the profile. Any shout outs?
No, none at all.
Julian, mate, your team.
I'll probably have to shout out my own teammate, Julian, because Team Garbage. You're definitely not getting shouted out, my friends. But that's Julian.